Hello, dear guests, dear friends. I really love to introduce today one of most popular ballerina today, a very young, very unique person. She's principal dancer today in the ABT. Dear Misty, hello, Misty Copland. Your name is now, I don't know, every young one knows in New York and America. So you have fantastic programs. You do a lot of things. But my question is, I want to introduce you to our audience. Who is Misty Copland? How you start ballet? Little bit about your family, please. About how your first steps.
Oh, well, it's such an honor to be here with you. Nina, you have really paved the way for so many ballerinas from all over the world. And so it means so much to me to be speaking to you and to meet your family and friends in your country, your audience. So thank you very much. I joined American Ballet Theater in 2000. And I had only been training in ballet for 4 years when I moved to New York City from Los Angeles, California. I really had an unusual path to ballet. I grew up moving constantly. I was born in Kansas City, Missouri, here in the United States. And then my family moved to Los Angeles when I was only 2 years old. And before I was 13 years old, my family moved 7 times to different schools, different homes, and we didn't often have money or food on the table. So doing things that were considered, fun extracurricular activities like ballet when you're young was not something that was offered to me. My mother's main goal was to provide for her children and to keep us in school. So I had no introduction. I'd never heard classical music before I was 13, and I'd never seen a ballet. So it wasn't until I was 13 that I was found at a local, I don't know if you guys have something similar where you are from, but they have community organizations that provide for young people in their communities to give them the access and allow them to be a part of the arts. So that's how I was discovered at my community center by a local ballet teacher who was looking for young talent that wouldn't have the opportunity typically to be a part of ballet. So she found me, and I took my first ballet class on a basketball court, which was very, very unconventional. I was not wearing leotard and tights. I was wearing socks and shorts and a t-shirt. And she said to me, I've never seen a body like yours and someone that's capable of absorbing all of the information she was giving me and holding on to it. And she told me I was a prodigy immediately. So from there, she took me into her ballet school on full scholarship, where I was on point within 3 months, which I wouldn't recommend to anyone who's listening. It was a very interesting, dynamic, and my teacher felt that my body was strong enough to do that. And then I just had a really quick rise. Within a year and a half, I won the biggest arts competition in Southern California. And that was the first time that ABT saw me dance. There was an amazing group of judges, and I was offered full scholarships to Joffrey Ballet and San Francisco Ballet and American Ballet Theater. And I ended up going to San Francisco Ballet for the summer after only a year and a half of training. And they put me in the highest level, and I was awarded full scholarship, and they paid for where I stayed and food. And then the following summer, I went to New York for the first time, and I was 16 years old, and I was still so new to ballet. I remember I met David Hallberg that summer, and so many other dancers that were in the company with us, Craig Salstein, Renata Pavam, so many that came through the studio company. And it was really quickly. Within another year, I was touring with the main company. We went to China. It was the very first time that I'd ever left the country, that I'd ever left the United States. And that was my introduction into professional life. I'd only been dancing then for 4 years. And then a year later, I was performing probably in the Court of Ballet behind you in Swan Lake in my first Met season. And then from there, you know, I've had quite a journey in the company, but I joined in 2000, 2001, and I'm approaching my 20th season with the company next spring.
I don't believe this. I don't believe this. My God. It feels like everything was yesterday.
I know.
Oh, and I always remember you, young one, and you also was hard worker, which is very important. You know, I always see your beautiful foot, beautiful feet, and so you always was ready, technically very strong young girl. And I think you do really lots of and fantastic career. What I want to tell you, ask question, what do you think? Because America is different, because I'm from Russian school, I'm Georgian, today I'm back to Tbilisi to directing company, but strong discipline in the class, everyday class. It's important because now you are teaching and you give class to young generation. And what is your feeling and expression about this?
I think that the reason that I was so connected to ballet so quickly was because I didn't have any of those things in my childhood. I didn't have discipline. I didn't have structure. I didn't have stability in my life. And so ballet was the first thing that came into my life that had all of those things, as well as this beautiful way of expressing yourself through movement. And I was so shy. I never spoke. So ballet was perfect for me. I could say everything I wanted to say without opening my mouth. And it aligned perfectly, I think, with my personality and the things that I needed as a child and as a human being. And I think that it's such a beautiful tool that you can take with you and apply to so many things in your life outside of ballet. And I think that's the beauty in classical dance and why so many people should be a part of it, whether or not you want to make it a profession or not. I think that it will add so much to your life. But there's no way that you can truly succeed if you're not fully committed. And I think ballet is one of those things where you can't fake it. You know, it's you either put in the work and you see the outcome on stage or you don't. And so there's no way to avoid doing that work. And I think that a lot of young people learn very quickly that if you don't put in the work and you don't really love it, you're just not going to last, because it's more hard work than it is, you know, receiving the standing ovations and flowers and thrown like Nina, Ananiashvili, bravo Nina, and throwing things on the stage. Very few people experience this. And so most people, you know, it's more about the work that you put in and feeling privileged to be a part of so much history and tradition in the ballet world, and just feeling that, you know, you care about giving back the work that you put in, giving that to the audience, and seeing them have some escape during their days and their lives, and you can bring some beauty to their life. And so I think it's important for young people to know that there's no way to exist in this world without putting in the work.
You know, we say in the Russia, like stage is like mirror. So if you are fake, all audience see you are fake. But you know, my God, you told me it's 20 years. I don't believe this. But what you learn in the ABT, you have Russian teacher like Irina Kalpakova, I adore her. You have American teacher, a lot of guest teacher is coming. So you have your own company's member who teaching class. So what is this class for you? Everyday class.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I was very fortunate, my first ballet teacher was very aware of the fact that I'm an African-American woman and how rare it is to exist in the ballet world as a Black woman. And so I was not aware of this when I joined, of how little that community is, how small that community is of Black dancers throughout the world. And so she was very cognizant of the fact that ABT is such a diverse and worldwide company. And she thought that if I could exist and succeed in any company at that level, it was going to be ABT. And so I was very fortunate that she was introducing me to ballerinas like yourself and Gelsey Kirkland and Susan Jaffe and Julie Kent, Paloma Herrera from a young age. And so that was always my goal, because I saw such diversity in the training and the different countries people come from. So I think that's something that allowed me to flourish really well within ABT. And it goes along with, it's really incredible to have such a diverse realm of training that you get, to go take a ballet class from, Ethan Stiefel in the morning, and it's his training. He's, it's a very different style. I'm sure that a lot of the children that live in Georgia experience, his personality and the way he trained and Balanchine and then to the next hour, step into a private rehearsal with Irina Kopakova. The very stylistic, it's such a range of different styles, but I think it's so beneficial and makes you have so much more freedom and texture in the dancing that you do, and especially in the repertoire that we have. It's so big that it's never just one style. But ballet class has always been the most sacred time for me. It's like meditation. Every morning, the same thing, to maintain your body, but also to keep your mind free from everything that's happening in the world. It's the one time you put your phone down, you're not looking in social media. It's such a beautiful thing that rarely still exists, where children can fully escape from this thing in their hand or all of these things that stimulate them, but to just focus solely on themselves. I think that ballet is like the one thing that's left that we can hold on to. I think that really can create such a well-rounded and intelligent human being.
Thank you so much for this wonderful answer. And Misty, you dance a lot of things. Classical, you do modern, choreographer staging for the numbers. I see a lot of your show today in the media. It's amazing, beautiful. So what you feel, what you like most, or it's impossible to say?
Yeah, it's definitely evolved with time and experience and age. I think that when I first joined ABT, I had a difficult time fitting in. I was the only Black woman in the company for the first 10 years of my career. And that was really difficult, as someone who joined the Corps de Ballet at 19 years old. And I'm still trying to figure out who I am as a person, and to not feel a connection culturally with other people I'm surrounded by was really difficult for me. But in that time in the beginning, a lot of the opportunities that I got to perform leading roles came from contemporary choreographers that would come to ABT and select me. And that was my opportunity to show my talent. Because I wasn't given those opportunities in the full-length classical ballet. So I think in the beginning of my career, I clearly loved to do the contemporary because I was really getting to dance. And when it came to the full-length ballets, I would maybe do some core work, but I was never really featured. But doing those contemporary ballets allowed for the artistic staff to see what I was capable of, and then it allowed them to then cast me in more classical roles. So I think the older I get, the more mature and evolved as an artist I've become, the more I appreciate telling a story, like really telling a story that has weight and has emotion and has history, where a lot of the contemporary works seem to be more abstract and more about the athleticism and movement. And so for me, I love Manon and Juliet and those types of ballets where it's really, what's inside of me and using my life experiences to tell the ballet story.
Do you have any favorite choreographer? I know always difficult to say, but maybe what you feel somebody staged for you and it was really works well. Do you have some?
Again, I've had an amazing career where I've had the opportunity to work with so many choreographers from all over the world. And, when I was younger, Alexei Ratmansky, when my body could do his works really well, I really felt, you know, a connection to his works because he put in a way that no choreographer had ever pushed me. He got me to do things that I'd never imagined were possible. And working with him, having him create Firebird on me, and on Natalia Osipova and Isabella Boylston, on the three of us, he created his Firebird. And I felt that it was really a role that he made for me, and he allowed each ballerina to bring what made them look best and the best way they could tell the story through what worked for them. So definitely more in the beginning, middle of my career, Alexi was someone that I really looked towards for growth. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think that outside of Alexi Ratmansky, it was really nice to have dancers within the company who are also choreographing in the midst of their own career. And Marcelo Gomez was one of them. And I think because he is such a smart and intelligent partner, it allowed him to be able to create pas de deux that I think were so seamless. And I worked so well with him. Apart from Marcelo Gomez, I think also Liam Scarlett, I think he has a real gift for creating pas de deux that just really flatter both the man and the woman. So it's not just a man behind the woman and you only see her, but it's really a dance for two. Also, William Forsythe, I mean, it's such a range of people, but I just feel so grateful that I have so many different opportunities that have made me into the artist that I am.
Yeah, Misty, because I really want to say you are lucky that way, because, all my live career in the Bolshoi, I was 23 years, Bolshoi is ballerina, so we don't have choreographer. And I'm so happy to hear Ratmansky, who comes very, very famous today. He was first person who created ballet for me, and it was like first commercial ballet. So first his ballet he created for me, and I was really not happy, but just like thrilled, because it's still now in my repertoire in the Tbilisi. So we're performing his ballets, one of his first ballets. And Marcelo, of course, fantastic partner, my friend. Last my Swan Lake we danced together in Japan. So, and last my Swan Lake in the ABT, you was little girl there. Not quite little. You already danced Pas de Trois and something. I really remember this. So, darling, I know you are so busy. You do a lot of things today. And what do you think, if you look yourself? Are you happy with your life career?
Oh my gosh, it is beyond my wildest dreams, everything that I've had the opportunity to do. I mean, just again, coming from, very poor childhood and not a lot of opportunity, I never in my wildest dreams would imagine I would be traveling the world, performing on the most incredible stages, have an opportunity to have a voice to represent so many dancers that have come before me that didn't have the opportunities that I have. And so I understand the weight, the importance of being in this position. There's not a day that goes by that I'm not grateful and I don't think, oh my gosh, this is my life. It's incredible. I'm never not grateful for it. And just to be, a part of ABT's 80-year history makes me so proud and emotional to come behind so many incredible ballerinas like yourself who helped to create what American ballet is today. And for me to have that example in front of me and witness it firsthand is just something I will never think is normal.
So I'm so happy to hear from you this. You have example when you are dancing right in the ABT in front of you, and now you are example for young one. And I know a lot of little kids follow, and a lot of little kids want it. Like, I want like Misty, I want like her. And you're spending a lot of time today to teach them in the social media, and this is absolutely wonderful. What we are so bad for that to technique and have problem. And everybody says, why you don't put picture? You have so many wonderful, it's so difficult for me to do today this. I'm learning, I'm like beginner. And, Misty, thank you so much. Be with me. And the last thing what I want to tell you today is almost everybody in the same situation. I'm so sad ABT season is closed. We closed our season. And we're all working in the home, but it's, of course, it's not same. What you want to say today to our audience, ballet audience, kids, students, for everybody who loves our art?
I think that ballet has lasted this long for a reason. I think that the culture, the tradition, it has gone through so much that the world has gone through, and it's still here. And I think there's a reason for it. I think that it's so unbelievably put together, the technique, the way that the ballets are told. It's something that I don't think will ever fully go away because it's so brilliant in telling stories and connecting with people. I think that as human beings, the first thing you do when you come out of the womb, when you are born, is you move. I think that it's innate within human beings to want to dance. And I think that's why people connect with it so easily. It's the first language. It's a universal language. You don't have to speak the same language to all understand what we're saying with our bodies. And so I think that in this time, I think that it's important for young people to understand and accept that everyone's experiencing this, and that it's something that, it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel alone, but just know that there are so many resources that you can use to feel motivated and to stay a part of, the training process, or just happy by watching videos, by watching people speak like yourself. But I think that this is a moment that the ballet world can really grow from. I think that, like you were saying, I think a lot of people in ballet and throughout our history, we don't really have a virtual presence. And I think that if we did have more of a presence online, we could connect with so many more people all over the world so easily. And I think that it would encourage our audiences to be more diverse, to be younger, to be from different demographics, if they just saw the beauty of it on their phone or on their computer screen. And that's one of the reasons that I wanted to create this relief fund that I started, Swans for Relief.
Yes.
I'm bringing together dancers from different countries. We have 32 ballerinas from 22 companies and from 14 countries. And I wanted it to be a representation of the ballet world and to show what we're going through without having to say anything. I used the Dying Swan variation because it's so iconic and the movement is so clear. The expression is not, it's very bare and minimal, but it's so powerful. And so to have all 32 ballerinas performing this one variation in order to raise funds for all of their companies' COVID-19 relief organizations, then, I thought this was the best way to get funds to dancers immediately who are not working now, who don't have maybe food on the table because of it. It's hard for them to pay their rent. So this is the reason that I wanted to do this, and I think that it's so important for the ballet world to have to be seen online, to be seen on social media.
Yeah, Misty, thank you so very much. I'm why I also do today this interview to my friends, because we don't have time. I'm so busy. I'm directing school and the company, and I really don't have time to talk to you. We see each other maybe 2 or 3 years accidentally in the street in New York, and we always always running, always rushing. And I decided to introduce a lot of my friends around the world to my audience, not just in Georgia, but everywhere, because I miss New York so much. I miss ABT, because 16 years to be in this company, it was like my second home, really. And thank you so much. Good luck. And if I can do something for you, for your kids or something, always you need to just take it phone, send me a message, and I will be with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye. Good luck for everything.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.